Hi, welcome back to the Gapster channel. This is going to be a really useful video. This is going to be 5 things that are going to be almost free or free that will improve your listening space and music. Number 1, decluttering your space. Make sure you remove any furniture that's in front of your speaker. There shouldn't be anything in the direct line between you and the speakers. Even things that are just slightly on the side can also interfere with the sound. Now, things that are behind the speaker, let's say those little sticks here, these can actually disperse the sound and be beneficial. Number 2, room treatment. If you have a bare room, it's definitely going to be echoing like crazy and it's not going to be the greatest thing. I'm not there yet. Start by the floor, which is the easiest one. If you don't have a carpet on the floor, please put a carpet in. This is like probably one of the easiest thing to do. And if you do have a carpet on the floor, you can actually make things even better by putting a big thick felt pad underneath the carpet. You won't see it, it'll be very invisible, and you can actually make that barrier a little bit thicker. And by doing so, it's going to absorb even lower frequencies, because when it's very thin like this, it's not going to be very beneficial to like probably the 15, 12K range, which is, some of us don't even hear that even sound. But by making it a little bit thicker, now you're going to get a little bit lower into maybe the 3 to 4K range, and now it's going to be even more beneficial. I'll put a link about where I got my felt pad to put under my carpet in the description below. Before going crazy with panels, start by small aesthetic things that may be partner approved, like for example having blinds and decorative objects that might scatter the sound. But make sure each time you add a panel to measure before and after, because sometimes you could add a panel and make things worse and not better. Over treating is also not a great thing, so there's a little balance to this. One day I'll make a video about all this when I actually work more on my room. Number 3. Proper cable management. If you're like me, sometimes after doing so many changes and testing this and testing that, you could end up with a huge spaghetti of wires, and it's a crazy mess. We all guilty of that, and it happens to all of us. I straighten my wires probably 20 times throughout the year, and a couple months later it's crazy again. But it's different for me. I'm a YouTuber, I'm always changing things, so I'm constantly plugging and unplugging wires. But if you have a system that you're more like steady, make sure at least that the power cables are not crossing or close to the interconnect cables. So if you have, for example, an RCA phono output coming from your turntable, make sure you don't have a line power like a 110 or 220 volts running alongside of it. That's definitely gonna cause noise on your phono system, especially when things have very low output like a phono stage or an output from, let's say, a CD player or a DAC. These are very susceptible to power line being really close to them. I did a video once about that. I'll put a link for that below, about the effect of power line noise on your system, on how you possibly could hear it or interfere with your system. Number 4, use high quality music files. I've done numerous of videos showing you guys different music that you can listen to on your system. I'll put a whole bunch of them in the description below. These are easy if you already have a subscription to, say, Tidal or Qobuz or Spotify. It's not going to cost you anything. Just make sure you use some of these files. You may not be all your kind of music, but you might find some of them that you will like. And also, after a while, you get an idea of what a good file is and what it sounds like. And once you listen to some really good, high quality recorded music, it's hard to listen to some of the badly recorded stuff. You can definitely feel it. Number 5, listening volume and when to listen. Now, of course, you can listen anytime. We all enjoy music at any time, while even in rush hour traffic and noise and beeps and all that. But if you want to hear the best quality of music, you want to reduce the noise. You know how sometimes we buy an equipment and we try to see what's the noise total harmonic distortion, also the noise level. And if you look in your room, you've got way more noise than your equipment are producing, like tons of noise. So the best time to listen to is, of course, late at night when everybody's sleeping, not too many people making noise. If you have kids, they're not making lots of noise. Your neighbors are not mowing the lawn or doing any crazy thing. You'll be amazed the difference in noise between daytime and nighttime. Also at nighttime, there's a lot less interference with the power grid, so you get a bit less noise. All these things contribute to a lot better, enjoyable listening pleasure. Because sometimes you wonder why I like my system and then a couple of days later I don't like it. It's often the time when you're listening to that dictates that. Also, there's a little bit of psychology in there as well, but we're not going to go into that in this video. The next thing about this part is the volume level. Each system has a certain volume level, we call it the sweet spot. It's also what you like in volume level as well. Listening to that volume, probably late at night, is going to get you the best sound that you can possibly get from your system. And I'm going to throw in an extra one here, we'll call it number 6. This is a common one, everybody talks about it. It's placement of your speakers, of course. This is like by far, it's probably the most bang for your buck. And again, I actually have some videos about some music that you can listen to help you place your speakers. I also have a series on bass, on how to get the best bass out of your system. When you're setting your speakers, there's a few things you want to set them for. One is to get the best imaging possible. Second is to get the best bass possible, and that's a tricky one. And the other one is also to get that holographicness and that 3D to feel like you're really into the music. When you get all these together, this is what we call the best placement. And also you can also tow your speakers in and out depending on your position. Often if you tow them, so basically they're aiming just slightly beside you here and here. We call this a position for one person. If you are by yourselves, that would be the ideal placement for the speakers. Now, if you want the speakers to sound a little good for even more than one person, maybe a couple sitting beside each other, you might not want to tow them as much. Just keep them a little bit more open and you're going to get a little bit of a wider sweet spot. It won't be as good as the narrower one, but it still be all right when you have two people so you can both enjoy the music together. You can also put some little tape on the floor on each position, just a small tiny one, they don't have to be big, and this way you know that this is position A and this is position B, and then you can actually quickly move this one here, listen for two people, move them again, listen for one person, and so forth. So just gives you an idea. These are, like I said, free to almost cost you very little, ideas that will not break the bank and what will really make a huge difference in your system. In the corner here, I'm going to put a very popular video of mine at any given time, there are at least 20 people watching it. It's called 5 HiFi Tweak for Clean Power. I'll put a link for it here. And in this corner here, I'm going to put a link about my Gapster TD1 DAC. It's a DAC that actually put together based on very old vintage technology, so it's nothing new, but it's just a little twist on it, and it helps you basically, if you're into a DIY, create some really cool DAC to listen to. There'll be a speaker here if you'd like to subscribe. My Patreon link is in the description below. You can help the channel for as little as $1. I hope to see you again. Take care.